Good afternoon. In the series of achieving sustainable development goals and going to moon, Mars and beyond, we are at SDG 11. SDG 11 talks about human cities, human, all increasing human purpose cities. And what are the factors? Cities must be inclusive, rich to poor can live, safe, they must be free from mosquitos and all disease and kind of things, and dust and dirt. They must be resilient, all weather proof, and they must be sustainable so that after 100 years or so we should be able to live there. Now, what is the impact on SDG 11? Almost 1.2 billion people, slum dwellers, were living in proximity. There was no social distancing, lockdown was there, so their kids couldn't go to school, and so many, they were living in hell, that's all. Also, almost 80% of the slum dwellers live in eastern or southeastern Africa, 370 plus million. Sub-Saharan Africa, almost 230 plus million, and southern and central Asia, almost 226 million people. And in India, in Mumbai, we have Dharavi, where biggest slum dwellers, slum and dwelling is there. Now kids keep asking question like, in 135 countries, right to education is there, but why not 100% literacy is there everywhere? Similarly, 156 countries have national urban policies and UP, and why they don't have the actual implementation of that? Why do the leaders plan SDG but do not implement? Are they not serious about SDG? So what can my answer be? Okay, then I had to explain a lot of things to them. The average global share of urban area allocated to streets and open public space is 30%. Okay, in standard practice, in theory, but in practice, only 16% is there. We could give. Again, kids have difficult questions. Only 50% of global population have convenient access to the public transport. Convenient access means 500 meters walk to the bus transport and 1 kilometer walk to either metro train, tube or ferry. And slum dwellers live most at the outskirts or near the rich affluent areas. So they have to, their life is not so good. They have to travel a lot as well. Pandemic stalled many public transport projects. So SDG 11 needs a relook. One good thing happened that in pandemic, Paris declared that they will become the 10-minute city, so that within 10 minutes anybody can walk and get whatever the necessities are there, daily needs necessities are there. Okay. Now, what are the targets and indicators? Ensuring 11.1 target, ensuring safe, affordable housing and upgradation of slums. What are the indicators? Proportion of population living in slums or in informal settlements or in inadequate housing, and all the above. So different proportions are there. Target 11.2, providing safe, affordable, accessible, sustainable transport system for all, improving road safety, expanding public transport, and special attention will be given to women, children, older people, persons with disabilities and other vulnerable situations. Others in the vulnerable situations. Indicator 11.2.1, by gender, by age and persons with disabilities, we are going to calculate all those things. 11.3 target, going for sustainable urbanization with inclusive approach in all the countries. And indicator 11.3.1 is simple rate, land consumption rate upon the population growth. And indicator 11.3.2, proportion of number of cities having direct democratic civil society participation in the urban planning and management. Target 11.4, protection of world's culture and natural heritage. For example, Himalayas are there, Eastern Ghat, Western Ghats are there. So indicator is what? 11.4.1 is total per capita expenditure on preservation, protection and conservation of culture, natural heritage. May it be source of funding, public, private, or type of heritage, natural or culture, level of government, national, regional or municipal government, local government. Target 11.5 protecting the vulnerable and thus reducing the deaths during the disasters. So indicators are number of deaths per 100,000, missing per 1,000, people directly affected upon 100,000 population, and economic losses due to disaster upon total national GDP. So these are indicators. Indicator 11.5.2 direct economic losses upon GDP. So direct economic losses are damage of critical infrastructure and disruption of basic services attributed to the disaster. Now target 11.6 reducing environmental impact on cities. If we calculate air pollution and municipal waste management. So indicator 11.6.1 solid waste management and collected upon total waste. 11.6.2 annual mean level of particulate matter in the cities. Target 11.7 providing inclusive and universal access to safe, green and public space to again women, children, older people, persons with disabilities. Indicator 7.1 average built up area of open space for public use for above 1 to 4 women, children, older and these kinds of people. And indicator 11.7.2 proportion of above 1 to 4 again women, children, all these people who face harassment in last 12 months. So are we humans or devils if somebody has been harassed? Target 11.8 balancing and strengthening environment and development in the urban and rural areas. Indicator 11.8.1 number of countries having urban or regional development plans. Those are flexible to the population dynamics, balanced territorial development and increased fiscal space. Target 11.B by 2030 adopting holistically the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction 2015 to 2030. Now what is Sendai framework? It has 4 priorities. 1. Understanding disaster risk. 2. Strengthening disaster risk governance to manage disaster risk. 3. Investing in disaster risk reduction for resilience. And 4th is enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response and for build back better recovery, rehabilitation and reconstruction. Now what are the priorities to reduce that mortality, affected people, direct economic loss and its impact on GDP, then impact on critical infrastructure and disruption. So these are the priorities to reduce so that the 4 priorities are taken care. And what are the priorities to increase? Now something is in decrease, so what has it is going to increase? Number of countries implementing Sendai framework. We have to find out international cooperation is increasing or reducing. Improvement is there. Implementation of multi-hazard early warning system has been implemented or not. If implemented, then there will be less loss. Now what is the indicator 11.B.1? Number of countries having adopted Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction 2015-2030. Indicator 11.B.2 proportion of local government adopting Sendai framework kind of a national risk reduction strategies. Local framework, national framework, Sendai framework, they all should align, match each other. Target 11.C by using local material helping the developing countries to build sustainable buildings by providing financial and technical know-how. Developed countries will help developing and underdeveloped countries to build houses using local material, but technology will be there so that they can take care of it and they have better housing conditions. I hope if we are able to develop human cities, we can develop the similar structures on Moon, Mars and beyond. That will be the experience. God bless humanity and thank you very much.